All right, so it is time to talk about sports cards. And this is the Infinite Game, and I'm talking about long term strategies for wealth creation and wealth building. And today I'm going to talk about this major bombshell that PSA dropped a few days ago. So basically, they cancel all submission services except walkthrough and Super Express. Walkthrough is about $600 per card. You get the That's the fastest you can get your card, and then Super Express is $300 per card. And they canceled certain things such as Express, which is 150 per card, regular value $100 per card, economy, which is $50 per card, and also value, what I think most people are gonna do, which is $20 per card, is just the cheapest option, and you can do a lot of low dollar cards. You can get a $20 card, get it graded, comes back a PSA 10. You sell it for 150. Great margins, very rare that you can do that, right? So the issue is that they had a backlog, and more people are sending in cards. Pokemon, people are doing Yu-Gi-Oh, people are doing basketball, and they're not just doing the modern stuff, they're doing the vintage stuff. So even stuff in people's closet back in the 1950s, people are trying to send in from grading. And because of the Last Dance of last year, people are sending in anything, junk wax era stuff. If it's a card and it can be in a slab and it could go PSA 9 or PSA 10, people are sending in for grading. And if it's vintage, people are probably sending in anyway. A lot of people don't even know anything about grading, don't even inspect their cards, and just send it in, because if it comes back at 10, the margins are so high, and a lot of times if it comes back at 9, you still can make money. So, and grading was so cheap before they raised prices, they were sending up. But when they raised prices, they basically doubled across the board. People realized, yo, I'm slacking. I need to put more time into learning how to grade and submitting a bunch of stuff into grading, because they're just going to keep increasing the prices because cars are going to keep increasing. So it actually got people to send in more cars rather than less. So that's the challenge that a lot of people are facing right now. So I don't know where this is going to go as far as 5 or 10 years from now, because I do think we're in a more of a junk slab era versus a junk wax era. But I know as far as right now, this is the best option that PSA had to do to get the backlog, because the issue is, if you're not sending in things from walkthrough, because so many people are sending in high end cards for walkthrough, Super Express, and probably Express, and all these major group submitters are sending in these large group cards. They're making you're just going to be stuck in this backlog, because if you're sending the other services such as value, the time for you to get your card is just going to be longer and longer and longer. So that's the major issue that a lot of people are going through right now, and they're going to have to figure out like what they're going to do with the raw cards. So right now, I think if you're in a position like, oh, I was going to send cards to PSA, I do think you need to look at other other companies. So SGC, HGA, CSG, and if you're looking for the quick flip, or you can sell your cards raw. I do think that a lot of these cards, or a lot of these cards that people are sending, aren't even worth it to begin with. And I think people need to be more selective in what kind of cards that they're grading. And you may see other companies raising their prices or doing something similar because they have backlogs as well. And because demand is there, I think they can get away with it unless you're going to pay extraordinary fees to get your cards graded. And for some of these cards, they're going to do it. If a card costs $2,000 raw, there are a lot of cards that cost $2,000 raw. So it just makes sense for people to spend $300 to get it graded if they think it's going to be a PSA 10. Um, but I do think they had to get the backlog going, because people would, I think more likely people would get crushed, because people would know like how much a lot of these cards are actually at PSA, and eventually when the market softens more and they start getting to these cards and start getting all these cards back, they're going to be worthless. So it's very very smart, and they're actually going to be making progress, and they don't have to get everything graded. Only thing they really have to do is they have to make some progress, and then add express back, and then add regular service and add the value service at, after so many like weeks or months. They don't have to just completely just add everything back, but the faster services start adding them, and it'll make it easier, and people will be more conscious of like what they want to send in for grading. I think most people are probably going to wait for PSA, to open back up. I believe it's in July. So if that is the case, most people are gonna wait unless they're really trying to flip and they're sitting to SGC. Beckett still takes a long time. HGA is very hard to get into, and CSG, the slabs don't look great. But if people are trying to get rid of it, yeah, if it's in a slab, it works. But this is an opportunity for other grading companies to take advantage of this and have people send in their lower dollar cards or cards they're looking to flip, and it can gain them popularity and gain them some more of a reputation. The issue is that grading company may only be seen as like, oh yeah, you want to just use this company for flips and you don't want to send high end cards there. So that's something very very important to think about. And I think overall this is going to be good. This is going to be good for the hobby, and I think this is a smart timing because 2020 Panini Prism basketball dropped, and people are going to send these cards in droves. Now the pop counts are going to be low for a while, which is good, and you won't be seeing 50,000 LaMelo Ball PSA 10 base cards running around. It may actually be less than Luka's for a little bit over a year. So I think it is the best thing to do. The hobby won't get oversaturated, and we know eventually the pop counts are going to be ridiculous. But as far as if people want, there's going to be more demand than supply, which is always good for prices. So that's something else to keep in mind. Also, if you have any other ideas of any kind of content, that you want me to talk about, I'm willing to talk about it. Just comment below, and please like the video and subscribe.